The Dragon Ball universe has known peace before, but this time it felt different. After the fall of the Eternal King, a quiet calm settled across all of creation. The timelines, once fractured and torn, were meticulously repaired, and for a fleeting moment, every warrior, every god, and every mortal could finally breathe. But for Goku, a hero whose senses are attuned to the faintest cosmic whispers, something was wrong. An unsettling silence lingered just beyond the edge of existence, a disturbance that even the Grand Priest couldn't pinpoint. It was a peace that felt too perfect, like the deep, unnerving calm before a storm of unimaginable magnitude. This unease soon took a terrifying form. Strange, pulsating waves of energy began to ripple out from a place beyond time itself. The eternal void realm. These weren't mere echoes, they were hungry. Dimensions began to fray at the edges, then unravel completely, consumed by this encroaching nothingness. The truth became horrifyingly clear. The Eternal King was defeated, but his power was not erased. Fragments of his malevolent will had survived, coalescing in the void, and were now clawing their way back into reality, not to conquer, but to consume. The fabric of existence couldn't withstand the strain. Where the void's energy met the living multiverse, a cataclysmic tear ripped through reality. It was a wound between being and non-being, a gateway to utter chaos. They called it the Omni Rift. Inside this shimmering, horrifying chasm, the fundamental laws of time, space, and physics dissolved. Past, present, and future bled into one another, and the very concept of reality became a swirling, meaningless soup. This wasn't just a threat to a single universe. It was a cancer growing at the heart of all creation. From the depths of this chaotic rift, they emerged. Figures cloaked in shadow and ancient battle armor, their power levels monstrous and yet forgotten. These were the spirits of ancient Saiyans, warriors erased from history before the dawn of recorded time. They were the originals, the ones who existed before planet Vegeta, before the legends of the Super Saiyan were ever told. Wiped from existence by the gods of old for their untamable power, their souls had been cast into the void. Now, freed by the Omni Rift, they returned with a singular burning purpose. Vengeance. Vengeance against the gods who erased them, and vengeance against the living Saiyans who had inherited their legacy. While Goku grappled with this new existential threat, Vegeta was on a journey of his own. He had long walked in Goku's shadow, chasing a power that always seemed just out of reach. But now, he forged a different path. Instead of chasing raw instinct, Vegeta looked inward, mastering his spirit through relentless discipline and a newfound understanding of the cosmic order. He achieved a divine evolution uniquely his own. Celestial instinct. This form glowed with the serene silver light of a distant nebula, rivaling Goku's most powerful transformations. It wasn't born of rage or desperation, but of perfect control, mental fortitude, and a deep connection to the universe's fundamental balance. It was the power of a prince who had finally become a king in his own right. Deep within the swirling madness of the Omni Rift, a consciousness was taking shape. It was born from the combined will of fallen gods, the vengeful spirits erased from time, and the very essence of the void itself. This was Aethros, the Omni Entity. It wasn't a being of flesh and blood, but a sentient idea, a living paradox whose only goal was to overwrite all of creation with its own empty image. Aethros didn't want to rule reality. It wanted to become reality, erasing every story, every life, and every memory, replacing them with the silent, eternal nothingness of the void. Its shadow began to fall across the multiverse, a promise of absolute extinction. Understanding that conventional power was useless against such a foe, Goku sought out beings who predated the gods themselves, the primordial guardians. These ancient entities, older than time and reality, existed in a domain beyond comprehension. There, they taught Goku a forbidden technique, a fusion of concepts rather than people. He learned to merge his instinct, his indomitable will, and the very essence of his existence into a single unified force. This training wasn't about raising his power level. It was about fundamentally changing what it meant to be Son Goku, preparing him to fight a battle not for a universe, but for the concept of existence itself. The moment of crisis arrived with apocalyptic finality. Aethros, growing in power, began to consume entire universes in a single, horrifying instant. Trillions of lives vanished, not into the other world, but from reality altogether, as if they had never been. Pushed to the absolute brink, with all of existence hanging by a thread, Goku unleashed everything he had. The training with the primordials, his lifetime of battles, and his unyielding desire to protect everyone, it all culminated in a cataclysmic transformation. He broke through the final ceiling of power, merging with every version of himself across every possible timeline and dimension. He became a living multiverse, an infinite being of light and power. This was the birth of the Omni Saiyan. The final war began. It was a battle of all realities. Goku in his Omni Saiyan form, Vegeta radiating with his celestial instinct, and the newly allied infinite Saiyans, the ancient spirits now convinced to fight for existence rather than against it, stood united. They faced Aethros, a being whose power defied divine logic. The Omni Entity didn't just fight, it weaponized reality itself. A single thought from Aethros could turn a galaxy into a cage, a supernova into a simple energy blast, and the laws of physics into chains. The heroes weren't just fighting an enemy, they were fighting the very battleground they stood upon. The conflict escalated beyond space and time, into a realm of pure concept. Every punch Goku threw birthed new galaxies. Every block from Vegeta solidified a new law of physics. Every energy blast from Aethros erased entire histories. It was a fight on a scale no god, no angel, not even Zeno himself could comprehend. Goku, as the Omni Saiyan, tapped into a power that was the source code of creation, fighting an entity that was the ultimate delete button. The fate of everything versus nothing played out in a flurry of blows that rewrote and erased existence with every impact. In the end, Goku knew that even this power was not enough to destroy Aethros. The Omni Entity was a fundamental part of the void, and as long as nothingness existed, it would eventually return. A different solution was needed, a final ultimate sacrifice. Reaching out across all realities, Goku channeled the life force, the Ki, the fighting spirit of every Saiyan who had ever lived and would ever live. He became a conduit for an infinite well of power and hope. With this combined energy, he didn't destroy Aethros. He merged his own soul with the Omni Stream, the flow of all existence, and used his very being to seal the entity beyond the final eternity into a prison outside of all concepts. As the Omni Rift closed and the light of countless stars returned, the Omni Saiyan form faded into legend. Goku was gone, but he was also everywhere. His physical body vanished, but his essence became one with creation itself. He was no longer just a warrior. He was the eternal guardian of balance, a silent watcher in the whisper of the wind on New Namek, in the gleam of a skyscraper on Earth, in the heart of every fighter who strives to be better. Peace returned, a true and lasting peace, bought by the ultimate sacrifice of the universe's greatest hero, whose spirit now lived on among the infinite stars. Thank you so much for watching this epic tale. What did you think of the Omni Saiyan and Vegeta's celestial instinct? Let me know in the comments below. And if you love Dragon Ball stories like this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. We'll see you in the next one.